103rd minute, extra time. Cape Verde trailing Argentina 2-1 in the round of 32. Sidney Lopes Cabral picks up the ball on the left side of the box, 26 yards from goal, and curls it into the top right corner. 2-2. Argentina, the defending world champions, completely stunned. ESPN's own words, possibly the greatest goal in the history of Cape Verdean football. Cape Verde, ranked in the mid-60s globally, population 525,000, against the defending world champions. The largest ranking gap in World Cup knockout history by some distance. They came within 8 minutes of the biggest upset this tournament has ever seen. They lost 3-2 in extra time, and in doing so, they produced a story that will be told for decades. But to understand what that moment meant, you have to understand where Cape Verde came from, because almost nothing about their being here made any sense at all. Cape Verde, an archipelago of 10 islands off the west coast of Africa. Population, approximately 525,000, roughly 1% the size of Argentina's. Third smallest country by land area ever to compete at a World Cup. The national stadium in their capital, Praia, holds just 8,000 spectators. Not 80,000. 8,000. They only gained independence from Portugal in 1975, the last country in West Africa to do so. The National Football Federation was founded in 1982. 7 failed World Cup qualification attempts followed across 4 decades. 7 times they tried. 7 times the door stayed shut. African football had started to notice them. 4 of the last 6 Africa Cup of Nations. Quarterfinals twice, in 2013 and again in 2023. But the World Cup stayed permanently out of reach until the expansion to 48 teams finally created a pathway that had simply not previously existed for a nation their size. Their coach, Bubista, a former Cape Verde international himself, born on the island of Boa Vista, built the campaign on 2 things: defensive resilience and diaspora recruitment. Players drawn from 14 different countries. One of their defenders, Roberto Lopes, was born and raised in Ireland and now plays for Villarreal. He was recruited via a LinkedIn message he initially dismissed as spam because it was written in Portuguese. This is who Cape Verde are. A country smaller than most mid-sized cities, built on players scattered across 14 nations, playing home games in front of 8,000 people. And somehow, against all of it, they made it to a World Cup. The qualifying campaign, CAF Group D. Cape Verde against Cameroon, Angola, Libya, Eswatini, and Mauritius. 1 automatic berth for the group winner. No second chances. Win the group or go home. Their record across 10 matches, 7 wins, 2 draws, 1 defeat, 23 points, 4 clear of Cameroon, a nation with 8 World Cup appearances to their name. The only defeat came in Yaoundé, a 4-1 loss on Cameroon's own ground. Cape Verde responded by winning 5 consecutive matches, including a 1-0 home victory over the same Cameroon side that had just thrashed them. But here is the number that really tells you how they did it. 16 goals scored in 10 qualifying matches, the lowest tally of any African team that qualified for the tournament. 3 of their 7 wins were 1-0. They were not here to entertain. They were here to survive. 5 goals conceded across the entire campaign, 13 clean sheets, the best defensive record of any African qualifying group that entire cycle. Then, October 13th, 2025, Praia, Cape Verde versus Eswatini. The national stadium packed to its 8,000 capacity. The country, by all accounts, half closed for business to watch. Daylon Livramento scores 3-0. Qualification sealed with 2 matches still remaining, after 7 failed attempts. After 4 decades of coming close and falling short, Cape Verde were going to the World Cup. They finished above Cameroon, above Angola, above every African rival in their path, the 3rd smallest nation by population ever to qualify. A country of 525,000 people, and somehow they had earned every single point. His name is Yosemar Jose Evora Diaz. Everyone calls him Vozinha, Little Granny, a childhood nickname given to him by his grandparents. His parents wanted to name him Valdano, after Argentine striker Jorge Valdano of Real Madrid. The authorities would not permit it. He could not be named after an Argentine icon. He came within 8 minutes of eliminating Argentina instead. The career. A goalkeeper who turned professional at 25. The same year Spain's Lamine Yamal was born. 6 countries: Cape Verde, Angola, Moldova, Portugal, Cyprus, Slovakia, and back to Portugal again. He considered leaving football more than once. His contract at Chavez expired on June 1st, 2026, weeks before the World Cup began. He arrived at the tournament without a club. What he wanted most was simple. He wanted his mother to see him play. She was in the stands in Atlanta for the Spain match. The records: 40 years and 12 days old, the oldest player to feature in a nation's first ever World Cup match, breaking Curaçao's Eloy Room's record, set literally the day before. Third oldest goalkeeper ever to keep a clean sheet in World Cup history, after Peter Shilton and Dino Zoff. 25 saves across the tournament, the highest of any goalkeeper at the point of Cape Verde's elimination. Instagram followers before the tournament, 56,000. After the Spain draw, 14.2 million. After Argentina, 18.8 million. Roberto Lopez, after the final whistle. He is a legend in Cape Verdean football. Probably hasn't gotten the recognition he deserved before this. He was not wrong. Group H: Spain, Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia, Uruguay. Spain ranked second in the world. Cape Verde 67th, a 65-place gap between the two opening opponents, the largest between any two sides in a World Cup group game. Spain came to Atlanta expecting a routine afternoon. They had 27 shots, 27, and they still could not score. Vozinha made 7 saves and was named man of the match. Lamine Yamal came off the bench. Nico Williams came off the bench. Still nothing. Cape Verde's president, Jose Maria Neves, watched from the stands as his country held the second-ranked team in the world to a goalless draw. Wikipedia described it as one of the biggest shocks of the World Cup. Uruguay, Miami, June 21st. And then it happens. Cape Verde's first ever World Cup goal. Kevin Pina, 21st minute. A long-range free kick from 30 yards, driven straight through the middle of the defensive wall into the bottom right corner. The bench empties. A nation erupts. Helio Varela adds a second. Uruguay's Agustin Canobio receives a straight red card. 2-2. Cape Verde had never led in a World Cup match. They had also never lost one. Saudi Arabia, Houston, June 26, 0-0. Then, at full time, the Cape Verde players gather together on the pitch around a single smartphone to watch Spain versus Uruguay in Guadalajara. When the final whistle sounds there, they know they are through. 3 matches, 3 draws, no defeats. The first World Cup debutant to reach the knockout round since Slovakia in 2010, and now Argentina were waiting. Round of 32, Miami Stadium, July 3rd. Argentina versus Cape Verde, the largest ranking gap in World Cup knockout history. Messi had already scored 7 goals at the tournament. Cape Verde's expected goals figure for the entire match would end at 0.45. Argentina's 2.16, 29th minute. Messi receives the ball, beats the defense with a single touch, and pokes it into the top of the net before Vozinha can react. His 20th World Cup goal. All-time record extended, 1-0. Cape Verde, who had never trailed in a World Cup match, were behind. 59th minute. Deroy Duarte, close range, finishes past Emiliano Martinez. 1-1. The crowd cannot believe what it is watching. Duarte's first international goal. Cape Verde had just equalized against the defending world champions in a knockout match. Into extra time. 92nd minute. Lisandro Martinez blasts in from a tight angle after a Messi corner. Argentina 2-1. It looks over. 103rd minute. Sidney Lopes Cabral, left side of the box, 26 yards out. He curls it into the top right corner. 2-2. ESPN may stand forever as the greatest goal in the history of Cape Verdean football. 111th minute. A Messi corner. Christian Romero's header deflects off Dine Borges and crosses the line. An unlucky deflection at the cruelest possible moment. 3-2. Final. Vozinha made 8 saves against Argentina alone. Cape Verde produced less than half an expected goal and still pushed the defending world champions to the very edge of elimination. Bubista afterward, "We want to evolve so we can face the big dogs of this tournament." They already had. So, step back and look at the full picture. A nation of 525,000 people, 7 failed qualification attempts across 4 decades. A goalkeeper who turned professional at 25, considered walking away from the game more than once, and arrived at this World Cup without a club, at 40 years old, wanting only one thing: for his mother to see him play. She was in the stands. They did not win, but they went unbeaten through Spain and Uruguay in the group stage. They scored a goal in extra time that may never be surpassed in Cape Verdean football history. And they pushed the defending world champions to the very edge of elimination. The records will stand for a long time. The story will stand longer. Was this the greatest underdog story in World Cup history? Drop your verdict below, subscribe, and stay close, because this tournament is not done yet.